Hello and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. There's been an update to the Liberal Party's plan to roll out their buyback of firearms, which of course is really just confiscation with some token payment that won't be equal to the value of the guns. But they've decided that they're going to roll this out during election season. Why would they do that? Well, a source, who was of course unnamed, was quoted as saying, "There are progressive votes that we need. It's going to happen." Of course, we always knew that's what this was about. It was never about public safety. It's always been about securing votes by dividing Canadians against each other on issues that have nothing to do with public safety. So, one of the problems that they're running into is that Canada Post, who the Liberals were planning on making sort of the linchpin of all of this, have said, "We're not interested." And different people have had different takes on it. Polly, has been saying, whoa, 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 why are they afraid of gun owners if gun owners are all perfectly safe? Thing is, they're not afraid of gun owners. They don't want the hassle of dealing with upset gun owners, because certainly there will be some gun owners who will be upset and will behave like jerks. I'm not saying that people should do that. I will say the opposite of that. Don't be a jerk. But they're saying, oh, well, Canada Post all the time delivers guns. Why will it be any different taking things away? Well, that's really not hard to imagine. When you're delivering somebody's brand new car, they're likely to be a lot friendlier to you than if you're repossessing their car. One of those groups tends to get shouted at more than the other. So they don't want that hassle. But more than that, they do have legitimate safety concerns, and they're not from the gun owners turning things in. It's from the fact that they're post offices. They're not built to do this. And the plan that was sort of passed out was that people would get these special boxes to put their guns in and then take them to the post office, where the post office has no security and no training to deal with this, and might be the target of thieves or robberies or internal theft, because while the vast majority of post office employees are of course honest, it only takes a few to cause some real problems. And this can cause further issues down the line that will create sort of liability and headaches that of course the post office doesn't want. For example, let's say over at the government depot that's supposed to be receiving all of these special Christmas presents, they get one where they're expecting to find an AR-15, and instead they're like, "I wanted an AR and this is brick." Okay, now there's a problem. They've got a box that's full of bricks. Where did it become full of bricks? Did it become full of bricks when somebody decided not to send their gun in and just shipped something with some weights in it? Or did somebody steal it at the post office or at any of the points along the route, because it's an easily identifiable box that they would all know what it is very quickly, and just cut it open, put the bricks in, take the gun out, and now there's a gun wandering around there, and a gun owner who may well have tried to turn in their gun and instead are now dealing with a major headache, because now the government's going to blame them, and it may not be their fault. But of course, the Canada Post doesn't want to have to deal with all of these incidents either. So you might say, well, you could have the postal employee sign off that there was a gun that went in there. Well, that doesn't necessarily help, and I'm sure that the Canada Post doesn't want their employees having to handle a whole bunch of ARs or inspect a whole bunch of ARs, because let's talk about our next problem there. This is an AR-15. Or it's an airsoft gun. Which is it? As I load it into a box, or somebody loads it into a box, and this post office employee is supposed to tell the difference? Supposed to sign off on that? What if it arrives and it's an airsoft gun? Whose fault is that? This was a stupid plan. Canada Post is not set up for this. And the notion that you could just suddenly turn the post office into this engine of government confiscation that they were never designed to be is ridiculously dumb. So whichever politician had that thought, they should be fired. And the only good news about them planning to do this around the election is that will probably happen. The person who thought about this is probably going to be out of the government after the election. But the notion that the guns in question are so dangerous that they can't be allowed on the street, well, first, if they were that dangerous, how come there haven't been a whole wash of incidents with the people who have them on amnesties? How come they allowed indigenous hunters to continue using them for hunting, especially every time they say, oh, these are not suitable for hunting? Well, then why are you allowing people to use them for hunting? And why did you pay a foreign consulting business to bring hunters in using exactly these guns that you say have no purpose for hunting to hunt? So, yeah, this is likely to be an absolute gong show. And so right now they're trying to pressure Canada Post into it. Both the government is trying to sort of make assurances and so forth. You also see lobbying groups trying to pressure Canada Post into taking this responsibility on. This is crazy. It's absolutely the way to make sure that this goes wrong. And the other thing is this whole notion of like these one-size-fits-all boxes is just, it's dumb. I mean, first, as I mentioned, these boxes become a huge target, but second, the guns that they're trying to seize here vary dramatically in size and shape, and lots of them won't fit into the sort of standard box for an AR-15. So I don't know if they thought about that or not. Anyway, if you want to see a whole bunch of AR-15s end up getting diverted from the confiscation process and ending up on the street, then you should support this government program. But if you'd rather see them in the hands of sort of legitimate law-abiding gun owners who haven't been going out and causing any problems, then maybe not doing this is the better approach. Yeah. I think it's interesting that this is one of the first times that they've sort of publicly admitted to just how transparently this is a vote grab as opposed to anything safety related. This is just purely that they are in a full-on panic mode, especially as they start looking at seats in places like, Toronto and Vancouver, seats which previously had been rock solid and absolutely unshakable, starting to turn from red to blue on the election map. They're starting to feel a little bit nervous and like they have to make this next election has got to be one around guns because they've got nothing else they can run on. Trudeau also recently apparently told MPs not to expect any sort of boost to their numbers or their ratings or reputation or anything like that until sort of next year. Well, or until later on, rather. It looks like this is their big plan. So, yeah, seems like the whole plan is just to manipulate people on this issue. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this to be interesting or educational. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more content. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level, the Canadian Shooting Sports Association, Canada's National Farms Association, PJs Forever, CCFR, and Purple Dragonair. And at the $20 level, Lindsay Metcalf, Larry Kalniak, Kyle Fox, Drug Call of the Baileys, Cameron Johnson, Andrew Elsich, Vicky, and Dorky Dane. Thank you as well to my $10 supporters who will be in the call immediately following. Thank you for watching. Hope this has armed you with knowledge. See you next time.